Everywhere we look, the message is clear: achieve more, earn more, and show more. And yet, if you look closely, beneath all the shiny exteriors and curated lives, there's a quiet exhaustion, an emptiness that creeps in during the silent hours of the night. It's a silent crisis, one that we rarely talk about. The truth is, modern success often leaves us spiritually bankrupt. Let's start by understanding why this happens. Our world is wired to reward performance. From childhood, we're told to score well in exams, to compete, to achieve. Then we step into adulthood, and the same game continues. Only now, the prizes are bigger. Promotions, social recognition, financial security. It sounds harmless at first, even motivating. But somewhere along the way, the measure of who we are becomes reduced to what we produce. And when worth is tied only to output, the inner self starts to wither. You may have noticed this in your own life. Perhaps you worked hard to reach a milestone, a new job, a degree, buying your dream house. The joy was real, but fleeting. After a few days, or weeks at best, the hunger returned. What's next? What else do I need to chase? And in that endless cycle, the deeper questions: am I truly happy? Am I connected to others? Am I at peace with myself? Get buried under the noise. This is what I call the paradox of modern success. The more we achieve, the less we often feel. The ladder keeps extending upward, but the soul keeps shrinking inward. And it isn't because success is bad in itself. Success is beautiful when it's aligned with meaning. The problem is when success becomes the only goal, stripped of purpose, reduced to performance. Psychologically, this creates a dangerous loop. Each external win gives us a temporary dopamine rush. It feels intoxicating, and we crave more. But like any addiction, the high doesn't last. And slowly, we wake up one day to find that while our resumes and bank accounts have grown, our inner reserves of joy, of presence, of peace have run dry. What makes this crisis silent is that it hides behind appearances. Outwardly, successful people seem to have it all. They are admired, envied, respected. But ask them privately, and many will confess to a deep loneliness, a feeling of being unseen beyond their achievements. They may struggle with relationships, with burnout, with a loss of identity beyond their work. This dissonance between how others see us and how we feel inside is perhaps one of the most painful aspects of modern life. So how do we break free? How do we succeed without losing our soul? It begins with redefining success. True success, the kind that nourishes rather than drains, has to include both the outer and the inner. Yes, we need money, stability, and achievement. These things matter. But alongside them, we need meaning, connection, and inner peace. Without these, success is just a decorated shell, shiny on the outside but hollow inside. Psychology teaches us that fulfillment comes from intrinsic goals rather than extrinsic ones. Extrinsic goals are money, status, and approval. Intrinsic goals are growth, relationships, contribution, and self-acceptance. When our lives are oriented only around extrinsic goals, we're always dependent on external validation. But when we cultivate intrinsic goals, we build an inner wealth that no one can take away. Another important aspect is balance. Success that costs us our health, our relationships, or our inner peace is not true success. We often underestimate the price we pay for constant hustle. Sleep deprivation, anxiety, broken connections. These are spiritual debts, and they accumulate silently. Just as financial bankruptcy happens when debts outweigh assets, spiritual bankruptcy happens when the cost of ambition outweighs the nourishment of the soul. To heal this, we need to invest in our inner bank account. Ask yourself, what practices recharge me? What moments make me feel alive? It could be meditation, journaling, deep conversations, art, nature, or simply rest. These aren't luxuries. They are necessities. Without them, we may win the world but lose ourselves. There is also a need for community. Success today is often portrayed as an individual journey, a solo climb. But human beings are not wired to thrive alone. We are social beings, and connection is essential for emotional wealth. And perhaps the most powerful shift is this: measure success not just by what you earn or achieve, but by what you become. Are you kinder, wiser, more present? Do you leave others better than you found them? Do you sleep at night with peace, knowing you stayed true to yourself? These are not metrics you'll see on social media, but they are the metrics of the soul. And ultimately, they are what we carry with us. So, as you reflect on your own journey, ask yourself, am I building only my resume, or am I also building my soul? Am I investing in experiences, relationships, and practices that nourish me? Or am I depleting myself in the pursuit of endless achievement? The answers won't come all at once, but even asking the question is a start. Because awareness is the first step toward change. The silent crisis of spiritual bankruptcy doesn't have to remain silent. By talking about it, by sharing our struggles, and by redefining success collectively, we can create a culture where achievement and fulfillment coexist, where outer success is celebrated, but inner wealth is honored too. If this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe. Let's build a community where we can redefine success together, where we can support each other in building not just financial or social wealth, but emotional and spiritual wealth too. Because no one should have to face this crisis alone. Together, we can change the way we see success and the way we live our lives.